Hello. So this is a part 2 video. So in the earlier video I made this poinsettia, and this is done with gold foil on red card. This is the waste that it was cut out of, foiled using the backs of these dies, and that's shown in the earlier video. And in that video I did this foiling, and I've yet to cut that one out. And I also did foiling. This is a satin finished silver card. That's a Crafter's Companion card. But this is Sheena's stamping card. This is also a Crafter's Companion product. But this is a watercolour card. It's 300 GSM plain white card. Fairly smooth. Not as smooth as some of the other white card I use. But the very smooth white card I use isn't so good for doing watercolour effects on and colouring with things like sparkle pens. In particular the sparkle pens, the sparkly stuff rubs off once it's dried on that card. It's just too smooth for it to kind of grip into. So I've foiled these, and some of them have come out shabbier than others. You know, I get better results on my very smooth white card, but for the purposes of being able to colour these in with sparkle pens, I've used the stamping card, and they'll look much better than that once they're actually completed. So let's go on that journey together. So I have three things I need. A water brush, okay, doesn't particularly matter what make. This is pretty much an unbranded one that I bought on eBay. It's got a nice fine point tip. Water brush, you have water in the barrel here, and if I just kind of use it on my mat, and just it's laying down a small amount of water there. Okay, so you don't have to have a pot of water that can get knocked over. You just have a water brush. I've got some bits of tape on the corner of my mat out of sight here. I'll use them later when I'm die cutting. And I've got a set of Spectrum Noir sparkle pens. Lots of people seem to be producing their own sets of these now. So these were when they were under the Spectrum Noir banner from Crafter's Companion. Sheena Douglas now has her own sets of colours in them. They're all pretty much the same thing. So these, let me just show you what they're like. These have a liquid-based ink, a water-based ink, and mica in them. So give them a shake to make sure the mica's distributed, and then take the lid off. And then if I just use this piece of scrap card, if I lay some colour down like that and show you, they're a very intense colour. In some ways they're a bit too intense. So what I like to do is I scribble on my glass mat. I'll do it where you can see it on the camera there, like that. And then I like to pick the colour up with my water brush and use it like that. And I prefer that type of colour. It's not so intense. If I want it more intense, I can go over the top with more colour and build it up. But I get the choice. And if I want a graduated colour, you just keep spreading it. Okay, so that's that. At the moment it's wet. Okay, now the other tip, I've got my GoPress sitting over here with its lid closed, because that's a nice warm surface. I'm just going to lay that card on top of the lid, not inside it, just so that will dry off nice and quickly. And there we are. So now I have to decide what colour I'm going to use with these. Now, I thought about using the brown. I think I might still stick with that plan. I might add in a bit of red, make it a bit slightly warmer brown. So it's a brush pen, so you can't really contaminate what's inside the pen very easily if you're laying down colour. So there's some brown. Let's get some red to go with it. There we are. I can maybe do a mixture of those. I've used this nice copper foil because it shows up well on the camera. But then I'm thinking, what colour goes with it? Let me just get my scrap of card back. Oh no, you see the sparkles hopefully now. So with my water brush, I can actually mix the colours. So I can mix a bit of the red into the brown and create a really rich reddy brown colour. I'm just going to paint that on, and the foil will resist it. So I can slap it all over my flower, spread it out well, and then once it's dry it'll just wipe off the foil. So I'll leave that to soak into the card before I wipe it off. A bit more brown in this one. I can even start in the middle and get lighter as I go to the outside. So any bits where the foiling is missed will get coloured in by the pen. There's another one. I'm going to put that up there to where it's warm for it to dry. Oh, let me just going to chop this one out of its big piece of card. It's a big piece of card. So I've not put any more colour on my mat. Well, I might do if I want it a bit darker. Let's have a bit more of the brown. Just add a bit more colour. That's a nice rich colour now. There we go, that's that one. So I'll just put a bit more colour down on the mat as I need it. I think it's got a bit wishy-washy. Put it up. So I'm literally just splurging it all over my flower. Okay. Okay, let me just grab a piece of tissue. Actually, some there. Yeah, so I'm just going to, now this has a chance to sort of dry and soak into the cardstock. Any ink that was on the foil, you can just wipe off. Okay, I'm not convinced I've ended up with a lot of sparkle, but the set comes with a clear overlay, so I'm going to put some of that down as well. But I'm still going to use my water brush to do it. So, lay that down. Or I could even, as it's clear, it's kind of put some on there and then just spread it a little bit with a water brush. I'm just going to clean my brush. And then those just need to dry before I die cut them. So while I'm waiting for those, I do need to make sure they're thoroughly dry before I start putting dyes over the top. So I'm going to leave those where they can dry. It's actually on top of my GoPress because that's nice and warm. And the ink can just clean off my glass mat with some tissue. A little bit of water maybe. Make sure my brush is clean. There we are. It's all a mess. And I usually heat my water brush with my crafting tools and just with a small amount of water in it. It's in a plastic box anyway, so that's that. So that's colouring with sparkle pens. Now I did show this in the previous video, but having foiled these, I thought I'd cut them out and show you the shaping again. So let's take them down, because these never look like they're going to be any good before they're cut out, and then suddenly it's all okay. Maybe that is okay. You have to take a little bit of a leap of faith. So just taping these down so that the dye covers the foil. I'll come back to that one because the dyes would touch. And those two are pretty much touching, so I'm going to have an extra piece of tape to make sure they can't slip in the die cutting machine and overlap. I am using a manual die cutting machine, so if anything did slip, I do have a chance to stop. I'm just going to go to my die cutting machine and I'll be back. Okay, so I have die cut these and just kind of laid them back into the card just to remind you what they look like with that big outline round them. And then as soon as you pop them out, they look much more delicate, and any imperfections in the foiling really don't matter at all. Flowers aren't perfect. There we are, and it shows up particularly well on this cardstock. But I've also used my embossing mat with the die, so it's picked up the embossed details. Okay, bear with me a moment. Oh, there's someone at the door. Right, so I've got those. So next thing is put that together. Or I don't think they're quite ready to die cut yet. So let's go over the shaping process with these. And in a minute I'll die cut those and then show you how that one comes together. So, piece of firm foam. This is from a Kids Craft, make a thing to hang on your bedroom door type thing. But it's just the right density of foam. Maybe the back of a mouse mat or back of a stamping platform, or maybe you've got a flower shaping kit. Anything like that. Okay, and then large ball tool. And just start sort of working in a fan pattern out from the centre. And they around the edges. And the petals start to curl. Okay, now this is quite stiff metallic card. Remember, it started off as a sheet of silver card, and then I put that phantom purple foil onto it. There we are. Now, so I'm sure you don't need to watch me do all of that again, so bear with me. Okay, having been around all the edges, I then use a softer piece of foam. This is a piece of makeup sponge, and I sit the flower on top and press down in the middle, and that shapes the middle for me. Okay, so then you do the next size similarly, the large end. So it starts off looking very flat and not very petal like, and literally in a fan pattern on each petal. So I'm using more pressure as I'm pushing away, and that makes the petal curl towards me. So I'm pushing away from me. Then onto the soft foam, small end, or something even smaller if you want to. I've got a smaller ball tool here you can really squidge down with. And then the smaller ones, I think the smaller end's probably better for those. Round and round. So I won't make you watch, I've got another one the same size to do. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so I've just got the smallest one to shape now, so I'm just using the small end of the ball tool. I just need a quick press and roll it across the petal. And then definitely need something small to press them down, so end of a paintbrush, something like that, or I've got a very small ball tool here. So that's the middle. These are the next two sizes. Move that out of the way. So let's make sure I've got this way you can see it, because I always think this bit's quite magic because it's all bent that way. And you just put it on a piece of sponge and just push in the middle, and it shapes it. So I've been using the ball tool on the back to curve the petals, and then to make them stand up, soft piece of foam, press in the middle. Okay, so that shaped those. Then they need to be put together. I think before I do that, I'm going to see if the others are ready to die cut, so bear with me. Okay, so let's move my purple and silver ones out of the way a minute. So these are now dry, so you can be sure when they're dry, because you can rub over a piece of tissue and it doesn't wipe the sparkly bits off. Okay, so they're nice and sparkly. One more there. There we go. So they're still sparkly. So these look a complete mess. So I really want to see how they turn out Okay, I've not made one in quite this way before, so this is an experiment for me as well. So I'm going to tape all my dies down and die cut them, and I'll be back. Just want to show you, so I've taped these down, and it's the foil that I need to cover. I'm not worried about where I've got extra colour around the edges from the sparkle pens. So just covering the foil with each of the dies, and I'm going to take them to the die cutting machine. Okay, so I'm back from the die cutting machine with these. So let's get the tape off. I just need to get my Pevky tool. So they looked a bit of a mess in the card. But now that they are die cut, I'm sure they have die cut, it's stuck. It's not quite die cut, that's not quite die cut. But it is 300 GSM card. So let me just go and put that back through. The others cut, and they look cut. Yeah, I think it's just that one that hasn't cut. So there's my petals from that one. This one cut? No, that was not cut either. Okay. This one? Yep, that one's fine, I think. Looks like the one I was going to recut. Oh, it's just caught at the edge there. There we are. Alright, that's come out now. Okay, so that one's fine. Can I get this one out? Oh yeah, that's fine. Okay. So yeah, there was just a tiny little thread holding it in. So there's the biggest layer. And the smallest one. So we'll put these together and make the flower up. I always think it's a real kind of almost an ugly duckling moment when you start off thinking, ooh, that's a mess, and suddenly it's a swan, metaphorically. So there's the dies out the way. Get my piece of foam and start shaping. So this is obviously a softer card than the metallic card, so I'm hoping it will shape more easily. Oh yes. And again, I'm just pushing pressure when I go away from me and just sliding the ball tool back, really. Not really lifting it off, but just taking the pressure off as it comes backwards. Not that it really matters. You can shape it in both directions. Not sure you could really do this wrong. It's again, I have embossed the die to accentuate the veins. Some of that's getting lost as I shape them, but the embossing never completely goes, and I think it helps with the shaping as well. Just going out in the fan the end and around the edges. Oh, I've missed one there. I've done that one. There we are. Okay, and then my softer foam, just put that on the middle. Just press down. It's starting to look like a flower. So I shall do the others and then I shall show you putting them together. Okay, so just the last layer to go, so I thought I'd bring that in nice and close and try and get rid of some of the clutter so that you can actually see what I'm doing here. So let's try and get this so the camera gets a really good view of what I'm doing. So I'm just laying it flat and just rubbing with the ball tool, and that really does all the work because the card just tries to curl itself around the ball. I'm just turning it round, pushing away from the centre down each of the petals, and this does curl more easily than the foil cardstock. So, and then at the end just put it on the softer foam, and then because these are small flowers I'm using a smaller ball tool. My pokey tool is a bit sharp for this, but gently with the pokey tool, as long as it's not a very, very sharp one. End of a paintbrush, something like that, just to make those petals stand up at the end. Okay, and then we need to glue them together. Now actually, I'm wondering if I actually want to do these as two separate flowers or combine them. I'm not sure. It's an interesting, no, maybe not. I'll do them separately, but they're kind of interesting together. Maybe another time I'll try the purple foil with the sparkle pens like on this, and maybe that'll be an interesting combination. Right, so I was talking about glues earlier. Now usually when I'm gluing anything to foil I use a dab of super thick Slap It On, because it seems to pretty much stick anything to anything, but that's definitely not something that a lot of people have got. It's a multimedia stuff. It comes in a big pot and I decant some, but I've got some flake and glitter glue, Cosmic Shimmer, so I thought that ought to stick foil, so let's use that. I'm just going to move the camera up a little bit and move this back here. Okay, let's put it around that way. So, don't need any glue on the bottom one. Take my next layer and I'm going to apply the glue to that. So this has a very fine nozzle, so I can just do it straight from the bottle. There we are. And I might just let that dry for a minute, so I'm going to get the other layers glued ready. Leave them upside down, ready to go. Maybe I'll do these ones as well. Just a spot of glue on the back there. Leave them upside down so that the glue gets a chance to start drying and go tacky. And then I want to turn these so they are offset so that these petals come in the gap left by those ones. See what I'm doing here? So it's in the gap. I'm going to line that up, use my small ball tool, push it down. Just press them a little bit because they've always seem to move. Oops, there we go, move from where I want them. I'm just going to hold that for a minute. Let that grab some more before I put the next one on. Okay. I'm going to take the next one and offset that one. Come on, come on. That's my card overlapping. I pushed a little bit too hard there. So let's put that down there and bring it firmer to press onto for a moment. There's a spun, that spun round. I don't want that in that position. There. And that one has spun round. There we are. And then finally, the little one. So just putting that in. So it's all set and push down. There we are. I don't want it to get stuck to my foam. There we are. Okay, let's do this one. So let's put that one on there. Take the next layer, line it up, push it down. Now I've got an extra layer on this one, so it needs to go there. That's going in a bit too far. And then the last one. There you go. When it's all settled, I might put a little more glue and some silver glitter in the centre, just to finish that one off. And so I might put some gold glitter in the centre of that one. Yeah, I hope that's... So I really wasn't sure if this one in particular was going to be something that came out looking usable at all, but actually I quite like that. It's quite rustic. I think on the right card that looked good. I'll definitely try it in some different colour schemes as well. So thank you for watching.